It's a Cinderella story set in Harlem, but this one happens to be true. The strikingly handsome young man is toiling as a janitor in a tenement house when someone hands him 2 tickets to a play as a tip for fixing some Venetian blinds. That's when Harry Belafonte got the theater bug, and it developed into a spectacular career as an actor, singer, producer, and humanitarian. But he may be best known for a quirky little song with the nonsensical lyrics.
Daylight come and me want go home. Daylight come and me want go home. Me say day. Daylight come and me want go home.
The Mon, who spent his childhood split between Jamaica and the tenements of Harlem, rose out of the ghetto to heights he couldn't have imagined in his wildest fairy tale dream. When Harry Belafonte was suggested for a role in a TV movie a few years ago, a young person questioned, "Is he a big star today?" To which the older, wiser person responded, "You don't understand. Belafonte is Belafonte."
Hey, come Mr. Doo-Doo flying up the street, running like a fire burning on his feet. Tilda's begging me money and I run out of his way. Come on, boy, jump inside. Come on, boy, we're gonna take you for a ride. It's in force. We are the fire. We are the moon. Moving higher and higher. Amanda.
Now, music was not your first choice. Growing up in New York, then you were getting into the gangs, then your mom decided you all needed to go back to Jamaica. And I think it was in Jamaica where you decided you wanted to be a jockey?
I see you've done your homework. Yeah, where I grew up as a kid in Jamaica, where I lived was very close to a racetrack. As years went by and I began to stretch, and it became apparent to me that I wasn't going to be a jockey. I did everything to try to stunt my growth, much to the alarm of those who were responsible for my life. And I was once told that if I smoked rope, literally a coil of rope, and that because smoking was supposed to stunt your growth, but rope would really do it. Rope as opposed to dope.
The rope didn't work. He stands 6'2" and spectacularly erect. But his childhood in the Caribbean did help shape his other love, music, as well as his style. Even the outfit, you know, you were the first man to make it chic to wear a shirt with an open collar and to expose your chest.
Well, I tell you, the real reason for that was that I didn't have enough money to be able to buy a costume. But I could afford a number of shirts which were easy to laundry. Since I found it very uncomfortable to work in a jacket, it was easier to just open a few buttons and to look like a simple, average type person.
At Chastain Park this past summer, the Calypso King again opened the shirt, revealing that 64 is still sexy. But the trademark threads are more likely to be of silk now. The laundry bills have been no problem Mon since the 50s. His 1956 Calypso still holds the #4 spot on the list of albums, with the longest stay at #1. That's behind Michael Jackson, but ahead of Elvis. But his proudest accomplishments are not on vinyl or celluloid. You're now a grandfather to how many grandchildren?
2. I should have had more by now, but they're damn lazy and they're so busy with careers. But I told them, you know, enough with the career. If I didn't get more grandchildren, I was going to cut them all out of the will.
Belafonte's own children are from 2 marriages. This family portrait from 30 years ago shows Sherry and Adrian, products of Belafonte's first union. Gina, and yet to be born at that point, David, are offsprings of his long-lasting marriage to wife Julie. You all have been married how many years now?
34.
And when you all got married, interracial marriages were not to be done. What advice did you give Sherry and her husband when they were entering into their relationship?
If you are in love, if your heart is open to a fulfillment in a relationship with another human being that brings out the best in you and helps you live life in a joyous way, no matter who it is, go for it.
Daughter Sherry continued a family tradition of interracial marriage. She's drawn attention to herself of late with some commercials, which revealed her spectacular Belafonte looks.
It's good to work out. I'm not pumping like 1,000 pounds, but I look like $1,000. No, $1 million.
Sherry, the first time you saw her in those health club ads, the sensuous body, there's your baby girl. What was your reaction?
Go home and put your clothes on. No, I said, how dare you show your body?
Actress daughter Sherry has said for a time her father didn't understand her lack of activism in the issues in which he was involved. But they came to peace with their differences. The senior Belafonte has made a life of turning his art into action as an ambassador for UNICEF, as spearheader of the USA for Africa We Are the World campaign. And before all that, as a foot soldier in the 60s struggle for equality.
Being in the civil rights movement would not be good for your career. You were one of the first crossover artists. Why did you risk your career for the things of an integrated society?
Well, for me, it wasn't a choice. I didn't risk my career. What I would have done would have risked my soul had I not been committed to change. But when I look at many of my artists, my colleagues who don't do that, and I've often wondered who has made the right option on what to do with life. I think those who have not had the opportunity to experience a Martin Luther King, those who have not had the opportunity to be called Harry Boy by a Nelson Mandela and to know his noble wife, have really, I think, missed the real meaning of the power of their art.
Belafonte came to know Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quite well, and on many occasions, King came to his friend for counsel.
What would he call and ask you about? I'm just curious. It's nice to be a fly on a wall.
People never knew the degree to which he retched over decisions he had to make. Was he doing the right thing? Was he making the right move? Was he leading his people and the people of this country in the right direction? Was he taking chances that were for him personally acceptable but could have ramifications for the constituency that he represented that might cause harm? And he had very few people, I think, whom he could talk with that had no agenda except the agenda of making sure that he was given the best resources to work with.
That was again his agenda earlier this year, when Nelson Mandela bestowed upon Belafonte the task and honor of arranging his tour of America.
Fellow Americans, Deputy President Nelson Mandela.
It was just one big, heady experience after another, and Nelson left this country very, very inspired and very energized, and I'm glad we could do that for him.
Belafonte's life is still intertwined with the Mandelas. He's currently producing a made-for-television movie on their remarkable story. Harry Boy, as Mandela affectionately called him, will produce the movie and play the role of Archbishop Desmond Tutu. And you know, that may be Belafonte's only regret in his 64 years, that he didn't have the opportunity to hone his craft as an actor. He says the opportunities just weren't open to him as a black, as they were for his friends, the likes of Marlon Brando and Walter Matthau, who studied and started with him. But I'm not sure you'd catch him complaining too loudly.
The rewards have been enormous, and I would not have traded any of this for a big house in Beverly Hills or a few more bodyguards or more gold records than I've already gotten. It's been okay.
update. Belafonte just signed a contract with New Line Cinema to develop and produce films. This is Belafonte's first ongoing partnership with a film company.